When I got into the area of feeding, I really thought that I was going to be working in the area of eating disorders like anorexia or bulimia. I really didn't know anything about this question of why would a child not want to eat? I think it's really important to clarify that pediatric feeding disorders are very different from eating disorders. Our program does not serve individuals who have conditions like anorexia or bulimia, for example. Our program is for kids who are having either difficulties with eating and drinking by mouth in a way that is compromising their health. A typical case coming to us is a child who has a complex medical history. We have a lot of children who have very severe food allergies or might have very severe reflux. If you go to a restaurant and you eat a food that makes you feel sick, the likelihood you're going to go back to that same restaurant and order the same food is really low. So the parallel for our kids is that they have a history of pain or uncomfortable conditions being associated with eating. The good news is, for a lot of those kids, the medical intervention is the answer. So if the child's allergic to eggs, you stop giving them eggs, the problem should be fixed, right? But the issue becomes that that child now has a history of sort of being fearful of food. And so even though there has been sort of a medical intervention, they continue to exhibit some challenging behaviors that the parents have a difficult time managing. So for our parents, they often describe meals as being really stressful, where they know that by the time they try to feed their child may engage in a lot of tantruming or crying, which again, that behavior makes sense because from the child's perspective, they don't trust food. Food used to make them feel uncomfortable. Before the age of 5 is a really critical period of brain growth. And if you're not receiving adequate nutrition during that critical time, then sometimes there's damaging sort of brain effects, and it may affect a child's ability to communicate. And then of course, there's more severe health concerns of really rapid weight loss, where that child may be deemed failing to thrive from a medical standpoint. So our services are designed to basically jumpstart feeding behavior. So the kids are coming to us for 12 weeks at a time, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday, 5 meals a day, where essentially we are working on giving them back their eating skills and being able to teach them that there are now positive associations with food. And essentially by the end of the 12 weeks, they're eating, their parents are able to feed them. The application of behavior analysis to pediatric feeding disorders is probably one of the most impressive in terms of the procedures and the approaches that we have. As a behavior analyst, throughout the day, I'm looking at the graphs, I'm looking at data point by data point, meal by meal. Everything is very individualized. At the start of the admission, we set goals for each of the kids. So typical examples of goals may be that by the end of the 12 weeks, that child is eating at least 8 to 16 different foods, that meals are taking less than 30 minutes. We also set goals like a 90% reduction in challenging behavior. I'm really proud of the fact that our outcomes really speak for themselves. Particularly in the state of Florida, it's been even more rewarding because there is no other service that provides and does what we do. It's taking on a new meaning to know that we have started the very first kind of this service so that people that live in Florida don't have to leave. They can access care in their own state. Some of the most memorable aspects of working with families is when you see that adjusting and making improvements in the feeding do not just impact feeding. Feeding starts to impact other aspects of that child's families. It reduces the cost, the financial burden, right? They're not having to depend on these alternative forms of feeding that can often be costly, like formula or G-tube supplies. We've had parents say, I sleep better now. I can go to work. I can go out with friends now. I can take my child to a birthday party and not be the parent who has a child that doesn't eat. Being able to have those moments with parents where we feel like the impact and the benefit of changing their child's feeding status goes into many different areas of not only the child's life, but also the family's life. Part of our training mission and application here is to really train the trainer. I like bringing students in and showing them, this thing that you read about in this article, in this procedure, this is how it looks in real life with an actual child. And this is how we help families with those principles. There's really only a handful, give or take, of these services. And so my goal is to take our trainees, train them to train others so that they can go out and continue to teach and hopefully replicate this level of specialized services so that families just have more access in general in this country and around the world.